Hello, BookTube. I have a wee bit of mail for you. Just 3 packages, but you never know. We'll see what's in them, see if anything is really good. It's going to be the split that we're seeing, I think we're going to keep seeing, which is we're going to get 2020 books that I can't read and September 2019 books that I need to read right away. Okay, all right. Well, this is an October book. Okay. I think I heard word of this from the publicist. This is Cozy Romance. This is The Christmas Spirits on Trad Street by Karen White. Due out just in time for Halloween. Let's see here. This is the newest installment in her beloved Charleston set Trad Street series. So I haven't read any of the others. But usually with location romances, you don't need to. 2 years after The Guests on South Battery became a New York Times hardcover bestseller, the quirky, donut-loving, schedule-obsessed heroine Melanie Trenholm returns. Finally married to true crime best-selling author Jack Trenholm, they are living in Melanie's historic home with their 18-month-old twins and Jack's 15-year-old daughter. But domestic bliss can't last for long. A new passel of spirits have also taken up residence at 55 Trad, and they need Melanie's help to right old wrongs and solve a mystery. This book finds Melanie once again forced to confront the hidden secrets of her city and its residents who came before. And it's also the first installment in the series centered around Charleston during the American Revolution. How interesting. When White, a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, was inspired to explore this time period by a recent discovery that she had several ancestors in the Carolinas, including Charleston, who fought during the Revolution. Huh. Okay. So in this book, Melanie finds out that long-lost Revolutionary War treasure may be somewhere on her property. A gift from the French king, brought to Charleston by the Marquis de Lafayette himself to help finance the colonial war effort. It's whispered that many have already killed and died to possess the treasure. Fantastic. All right, well, that last bit sort of pushed it over the edge for me. This comes out in late October. I have September books swarming to my eyeballs. So I may put this off for just a bit. I may put it off until at least October. So I've got tons more to read just before I break even with September. But that sounds good. That sounds like fun. So what is this next one? Oh my. Okay. Right. All right. This is going to appeal to one of you more than it does to me. How interesting. This is an October 1st release. God, like everything else in the world. This is a memoir by Debbie Harry of Blondie. This is called Face It. Lavishly illustrated. This is Debbie Harry's long-awaited memoir. A lot of you are going to be, some of you, your eyes are going to be just lit up, your eyebrows are going to be way up on your forehead about that, and you're going to want this book. And if you want this book, and you live in America, and you would like to, I'm assuming the reason you would want it is because you have a long and passionate involvement with Blondie. And that might be why you want this book. And if you do, and you live in America, you can have this copy if you are willing to review it for me. You already have all the knowledge that you need about the subject matter. The only thing you might be lacking is the knowledge of how to write a review, and I can help you with that. So it's an even trade-off. You let me know in the comments field. I will send this to you on condition that you review it. I have to start getting sterner about that. These new books are sent to me on the assumption that I will either review them or try to find a reviewer for them. Well, we need to work on that. We are a great reservoir of reviewers. As you can tell by the fact, if you look at Open Letters Review, Open Letters Review is the journal that I'm talking about. An online-only literary journal that does reviews, new reviews all the time, many new reviews every week of new releases. No think pieces, no ruminations, no 15th attempt to renovate the reputation of Henry Green. We just do new release reviews, and I found a lot of really good reviewers from BookTube. Because all of you have the ability to do that, whether you know or not, whether you want to or not. So as long as we know, let's see what we have here. The name Debbie Harry evokes many images. Seminal rock and roll figure, complex songstress, incandescent frontwoman, actor, and fashion icon. Now, after decades as a vibrant global force and a shaper of pop culture, Debbie Harry recounts her journey from an irreverent Lower East Side punk goddess to a bona fide international ambassador of New York cool in her long-anticipated memoir, Face It. Okay, so there you go. This comes out on October 1st, and it is full of pictures. It's her, name dropping memoir, but it's also full of black and white pictures on it. Not just the usual inset of pages, but just full of pictures, which I guess you'd kind of hope it would be. And that horrible moment. There's that horrible moment. No sneeze is just a sneeze, I guess, in late summer. Instead, there's that horrible moment when you sneeze and you wonder, okay, am I about to lose my afternoon? Is my whole day about to be gone? Because of, 475 sneezes in a row. But it looks like we're in the clear. So then we'll do this last one. It's one of these cardboard things, but it's heavy, so it may be another finished copy. Let's see what we have here. Oh, fantastic. Okay. No, this is not YA. Is it? Is this YA? Is anybody going to tell me? No. All right, well, interesting. It came to me without a sell sheet of any kind. This is fantasy. This is by Paul Kruger, and it is Steel Crow Saga. Isn't that lovely? Look at that. And I guess I'll just have to tell you about it here. 4 destinies collide in a unique fantasy world of war and wonders, where empire is won with enchanted steel and magical animal companions fight alongside their masters in battle. So let's see here. There's a small cast of characters here, including a soldier with a curse, a prince with a debt, a detective with a grudge, and a thief with a broken heart. And this band of rogues and royals should all be enemies, but they unite for a common purpose, to defeat an unstoppable killer who defies the laws of magic. In this battle, they will forge unexpected bonds of friendship and love that will change their lives and begin to change the world. So that is YA. So it is YA. It doesn't specifically state as such, and it doesn't quite have the presentation of such, and $27 is a lot to ask for a YA. But I guess, I don't, I mean, the characters are all over the map, the 4 characters involved, but the fact that the fate of the world hinges on whether or not they become besties means this is YA. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This could still be really, really good. I'll have to check around and see whether or not the publisher, this is Del Rey, whether or not they're categorizing this as YA, or whether or not this is a little bit more of the insidious YA creep that I've noticed, where books that are clearly YA, where everything in literally the entire universe is subordinated to whether or not you hook up with so-and-so because you think they're like really kind of cool. That is a YA mentality. There's nothing wrong with that. I've read many, many good YA books that were strictly along the lines of that mentality. But that's not adult fiction. Nor is it, I might point out, the adult world. And yet I have seen a number of novels, fantasy and just ordinary fiction, that are clearly YA. They're clearly set up that way, sort of trying to creep into the adult listings anyway, under what I suppose is the mercantile assumption on the part of publishers that a whole generation of people who grew up reading Harry Potter might want to continue reading YA books, even as adults. I would consider that a shame. As much as I have loved a lot of YA, I would consider that a shame. One of the defining characteristics of YA is that it lacks adult complexity. It lacks adult nuance. Obviously, that is kind of a definition of the thing. and if you train a whole generation of readers to read that as adults, well, what happens to Thomas Mann? What happens to the Magic Mountain? What happens to the Custom of the Country? What happens to those books if you train the whole of the readership of the world to be incapable of reading them? More happens in The House of Mirth in one chapter than happens in all of... Well, anyway. Let's see. Paul Kruger is a Filipino-American author. His first novel was the urban fantasy Last Call at the Nightshade Lounge. He is a lapsed Chicagoan. Is that what happens to people who leave Chicago? Because everybody does. Nobody stays. They become lapsed. He's a lapsed Chicagoan who may now be found literally herding cats in Los Angeles. Oh my. That sounds very frustrating. Yet he seems cheerful. Well, I'm going to have to... I mean, this has blurbs from adult science fiction and fantasy authors. So maybe this is being marketed as adult. I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to read it anyway. I don't have a sheet for it, but I'm assuming this is out now or out real soon. So, Steel Crow Saga sounds really ambitious. Sounds lots of fun. So that is our mail haul for today. We have Steel Crow Saga, which is fantasy that I'm assuming is out now or is out soon. Then we have Face It by Debbie Harry. I confess, I am not the target audience for this book, and I'd be willing to bet that one of you is. And then we have Christmas on Trad Street, sort of a location-based romance historical novel that doesn't come out until October. So it may be the last of the ones I read here. I don't think I will read the Debbie Harry. I know I say on this channel all the time that I read everything I'm sent, but unless it's on a completely different wavelength from me, in which case, what would be the point? I didn't request the Debbie Harry book, and I'm not the least bit interested. I'm not the least bit interested. So I probably won't give what has become a very vital reading slot. I'm trying to get all of September done. I probably won't give that slot to this book unless I get no takers for review, in which case I might have to review it myself, which would be a pathetic sight. I'm the first one to admit that. That would be a pathetic sight. It'd be a clear case of a reviewer reviewing only the book in front of him without bringing any of the expertise to it that you kind of hope a reviewer will bring. But anyway, so that's our mail for today. Not a very long video. Good, because the library tour this morning went long. So I'm going to wrap this up, but I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.